Hey, you guys, it's Life Coach D. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, like, and share this video. So, today we're going to be talking about grief and loss, how to deal and cope with losing someone close to you, losing a loved one. It's never easy. It's never easy. I lost my dad 5 years ago, and this what really inspired me to do this video because death is promised to us, guys. We are not going to be able to escape death. No one we love is going to be able to escape death. So it's important that we learn healthy habits and we learn how to deal with it when we experience it. And for me, when I lost my dad 5 years ago, that was the first time I experienced such a close death. I've never experienced it before. And I instantly went into depression, which triggered my entire life. I spiraled downward because I didn't know how to grieve and I didn't know how to just accept what happened. So today I want to talk to you guys about 5 different ways you can cope through, you can deal with a grief and a loss. I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. I don't want you to go down such a negative path when it comes to dealing with a loss of a loved one, a loss of someone very close and dear to your heart. So I wanted to share best practices of ways to cope. Times are moving swiftly and it's not going to get better, guys. It seems like it's getting worse even before it even gets better, right? So it's important that we are prepared and we are able to mentally and emotionally be able to cope when death arises in our backyard. So let's jump into it. The first way to cope with grief and a loss is to be patient. Be patient with yourself. A lot of times you feel like it may be easier to stay busy. In your mind, you're like, let me stay busy. Let me not think about it. Let me clean. Let me book this. Let me book that. Let me volunteer to do this. Let me volunteer to do that. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't work. I'm here to tell you it does not work. Be patient with yourself. Take time off. Take those bereavement days from work. Do not show up at work. If you could take time off from school or any activities, I recommend you do so. I recommend that you take time away and you don't do too much. You don't do too much because it's not helping you. It's not helping you through the grieving process by staying busy and ignoring and trying to escape what you're feeling, your emotions, what you're going through. It doesn't help. And that's what leads me to the second way of coping through this process of grieving, and that is to allow yourself to grieve. That is to feel the pain. That is to not escape the tears, release the tears, allow yourself to be emotional about the loss of your loved one. Cry, yell, scream, express yourself, talk to others about your loved one. Share your thoughts, share your emotions. Do not leave it bottled up inside. It's not going to help. I always recommend if you don't journal or if you don't have a journal, create a journal. Write down all of your memories that you've had with that person. Write down a letter. Say your goodbye in a letter to that person you lost. Let them know how you felt, how you feel. But, don't try to escape that. Don't try to escape the release of those emotions because you need to release and allow those tears to flow. It's healing in those tears. It's strength in those tears. It's strength in those emotions that you are releasing. So it's important that you take advantage of acknowledging the pain that you're in, facing that pain, and not being scared to. Okay. Avoiding the pain is only going to delay the grieving process. If you ignore the pain, you try to avoid the pain, it's going to delay you, and it may delay you by years. And I can tell you this, it's going to turn into a triple effect because not only are you avoiding it, you're building up resentment and anger within. And that's going to affect your relationship within your household, your relationship with other people around you, your peers, your family members. And they're not going to understand why. You're not going to understand why you're lashing out. And it all has a lot to do with you not grieving that loss that you've experienced. And I can speak on that because I personally did not grieve properly. I tried to hold it in when my father passed away. I tried to ignore the emotions, and it had a negative impact on my family and my household. So I'm here to share with you guys that it's important that you face your emotions, that you face what you're feeling and you let it flow. And don't feel bad about it. I don't care if it takes you crying every day for the next 2 weeks. Those tears, those emotions is allowing you to heal, is strengthening you, and it's doing better good than bad. Trust me. Okay, because one day you're going to wake up and you're not going to have any more tears. One day you're going to wake up and you're not going to want to yell. You're not going to want to scream. You're not going to feel so bad. But you have to embrace those emotions in that time and don't ignore it because all you're going to do is push the pain further down in the process, and it's going to take longer to get up out of this grieving stage, right? So the third way to cope with losing a loved one and to grieve healthy, I would say, it would be to not turn away your support system. Maintain your friendships. Do not turn people away that's trying to be there for you, that's trying to support you. Welcome it, embrace it. This is going to help you. Okay, these times where you have people that's reaching out to you, of course you're going to want to have, days where you're not going to want to talk to anybody. You just want to be by your lonesome, and you just don't have it in you. But don't turn those people that's trying to support you away. Still embrace them and communicate with them and just let them know where you are. Don't be afraid to share with them where you are in the process and how you're feeling. That's another way of releasing your thoughts, and they can support you through the way. But if they don't know what's going on and you don't communicate with them, how can they help you? How can they help support you and be there for you within this process? So please do not turn away your friends, your family and your loved ones during this time of you grieving a loss. Okay. That's so important. That's the third tip. Do not turn away your support. The fourth tip is to understand that grieving is normal. It's normal. You're going to have to go through it. You cannot avoid grieving. You cannot avoid it. Okay. I tried to. I tried to avoid it personally, and it bit me in the ass, like in the worst way. And I'm here to tell you, live in your grief. It's healthy, it's normal, it's the process that we have to go through in order to strengthen, in order to be able to cope. Because I can tell you this, you are never going to forget about that person you lost, but you will learn how to cope and you will build strength to be able to face another day. And you want to make that person proud. The person that you lost, you don't want to, allow it to affect you and impact you in a negative way to where you're not getting out of bed, you're not communicating, you're not eating. They wouldn't want that for you. So it's understanding and remembering, your relationship with that person and the expectations and the values that you share with that person, and knowing that you want to continue to make them proud even if they're not physically here on this proving ground with you. So, understand that It's a part of the process. And it's really all in your attitude and the way grieving a loss can affect you. It could either affect you and impact you in a bad way or a good way. Are you going to take this loss and move effectively in a positive light? You know, maybe if you lost someone to cancer, are you going to start a nonprofit? Are you going to do more research? Are you going to donate to cancer nonprofits or cancer campaigns? Or, you know, how can you spin this death in a positive light, you know, for the next person that may have experienced it or going through it? You know what I mean? So just really finding the positive in every situation, even in, you know, losing a loved one. What would this person want to see you do? Would this person want to see you, you know, in such a horrible state of depression, of anxiety? No, I can tell you right now they wouldn't. You know, this person would want you to be the light, a light for them. They want you to keep living. They will want you to keep surviving. They want you to be the best that you can be. So we have to understand that, you know, it's okay. It's okay to grieve. And the fifth way to cope with a grief or a loss is to heal. You know, when I say heal, I mean strengthen. Strengthen so you're able to deal with the loss when it occurs again. Because if this is the first loss that you've ever experienced, very close to you, it's always the hardest. But, you know, we cannot beat death. Everyone is promised death. So this isn't going to be the last death. So it's important that you heal and you're able to cope. So, you know, if you have to experience this again, you are a little more prepared because you're never prepared 100% to lose someone, but you just know, you know, how to function a little better than before. And, you know, I have to also mention healing through the Most High God and leaning on to the Most High God through, you know, this time is important because we can't lean onto our own understanding. We have to trust in the Most High when it comes to everything in life. You know, we can never question and we will never be able to understand, but we have to maintain faithful to the Most High's word and we have to continue to stand firm in faith, prayer, and your spiritual medicine, which would be the word of the Most High in the Bible, you know, through reading your scriptures. And, you know, that's the number one way of gaining strength through with going through a loss is staying in the word of God, staying in scriptures and prayer, fasting, you know, and leaving it to him, you know, to guide your steps and to continue to allow you to be strong, you know. And with that, you know, it's easy to be able to follow these 5 steps that I'm presenting to you with coping through grief and a loss with losing a close one, you know, through let's do a recap. So, you know, through being patient with yourself, allowing yourself time to mourn, allowing yourself time to release your emotions, your feelings. The second one, allowing yourself to feel the pain, allowing yourself to grieve. The third, maintaining, not turning away people that's trying to support you, maintaining your friendships, maintaining relationships and communication with your loved ones, not turning anyone away. Okay, the fourth one, it's okay to grieve. Grieving is normal. Understand that. And the fifth one, healing through the Most High God, healing through the scriptures, healing through the word of God. These are all the steps and all the ways, you know, to cope in real time, you know, in a healthy way, to not delay your healing when it comes to coping and Because, like I said before, you are never going to be 100%. It's going to be times where you feel like you're the strongest. It's going to be days where you may just break down and cry. You can go a whole year without mourning, and you can feel like, hey, I'm good now. I'm not crying anymore. It's been a year. I could talk about this person and not shed a tear. And then one morning you may wake up and you just break down. And I want you to know that that is okay. Embrace those emotions and those feelings, release them, and keep going. Keep going. Do not give up on life. The person you lost would not want you to give up on life. I don't want you to give up on life. I want you to keep living. I want you to understand this too shall pass. I want you to understand the Most High God is within you, is with you, and you will get through it. Okay, so I did have to share these 5 tips with you guys. I pray it's a blessing for you. Please share with someone that has recently lost someone or anyone that would be able to relate and benefit from this video. Thanks so much for taking time out to watch. Until the next video, have a great day. Be blessed. Life Coach D.